The forest was quiet in the beginning, with only 2 otter families living among the trees and rivers. Whenever they needed to share news, they simply talked to each other directly. They shared news about birthday parties, new visitors, and other events happening in the forest. Over time, more and more otters moved into the forest. And likewise, the number of events began to grow. This presented a challenge for the little otters. Whenever an otter had news to share, she would have to find every otter family and tell them directly. This not only took a lot of time, but was fraught with error. What if one of the otter families was on a picnic, and wasn't around to be notified of an event? Well, the messenger would either need to try again later or just give up. Since the otters talked to each other directly, they were said to be tightly coupled. Being tightly coupled is super cute, but it makes communicating with lots of otters difficult. This is called a scalability problem. That's when one little otter, named Nixie, had an idea that would change the forest forever. The forest was home to a great river named Kafka, and she knew the otters could use the rivers to communicate. She even made a song to explain how it would work. Put your events gently in the stream. There they'll float, down and down in the river's gleam. Watch for events floating down the stream. There's never been a better way to know what's happening. But won't you fall behind? The dolphin intervened. You can't just throw everything in a deep ravine. No, we'll be okay, if we split the river into seams. We'll make it wide instead of deep and work together as a team. Let's see how this works. First, an otter would observe an event, which is something that happened at a particular point in time. Next, the otter would create a record of the event. Records, sometimes called messages, include the time an event happened, the timestamp, and additional information about the event. Then, the otters would decide which part of the river to put the message in. The river was divided into named streams, called topics, which made organizing messages easy. Finally, the otters would drop their messages in the stream, topic, for others to find. At first they tried using glass bottles, but the bottles used floated away. Then, the otters switched to glass floats. Since the floats stayed in place and didn't float away, they were said to be persistent. Persistence is important, because it allows the otters to read the messages whenever they want, for example after the picnic. Now there are 2 kinds of otters. Otters that put messages in the river called producers. Producers drop small batches of messages in the river, unaware of who will come along to read them. This unawareness helps decouple systems that produce events from otters that read events. Otters that read the events in the stream are called consumers. Consumers keep an eye on whatever topic interests them. For example, the first responder otter watch the forest alerts topic, so that they can respond to emergencies, like the bee situation. The system worked well, but after a while, the river became very busy with lots of events. So how did the little otters keep up? Being social animals, they decided to work together. First, they dropped large stones into the river, splitting each topic into a small number of streams, or partitions. Then, one member of each family, called the group leader, would assign a subset of the smaller streams, partitions, to each family member. This meant that each otter was only responsible for monitoring part of the stream. By working together in this way, each otter family, called a consumer group, could keep up with the flow of messages in the stream, no matter how busy the river got. Furthermore, if an otter got sick or busy, ferry work would be assigned to another otter in the group. Since someone was always around, the otters were highly available. And, since they could handle unexpected situations, the otter were fault-tolerant. There was a magical part of the forest, the land of stream processing, where otters would do really cool things with the events in the river. Entire books have been written about the magical place. The otters also built roads, called Kafka connectors, to bring messages from other communities to the Kafka River. Everyone joined in on the fun. Kafka continued to help many others all over the world. And back in the forest, life carried on like this for many years, and the otters lived happily even after.